Here now to tell us a little bit more about the process and how this case changed it. Adam, thanks so much for coming on. You know, Rick Singer told ABC News that he was advising students even while he was in prison. What do you make of that? Does that surprise you?
Thank you, Diane. It's not surprising. This is his livelihood, and that's what he knew how to do, and he continued to do it. Before prison, obviously, Varsity Blues was a huge scandal. What he did was not only unethical, it was illegal. And hopefully, you know, during prison and now, he has rehabilitated and will be advising students in not non-illegal ways.
So how does this process work? How do you help people get into college? And how did the Varsity Blues scandal change the industry?
Yeah, you know, after the scandal, elite colleges, especially the Ivy League, exercise more scrutiny on how students are admitted, especially from high net worth families or those with connections. But at the core of admissions is always about measurable accomplishments, whether it's your grades, test scores, and importantly, extracurricular activities beyond just the regular clubs and sports. So what we do at Ivy Link is we look at the students' talents and interests, and we cultivate them over time. Imagine if your child is looking to compete at the Olympic level or the national level in sports or music. Of course, you would get your child a high performance coach and help that child, right? So we're not talking about illegal means or unethical means, but we're talking about putting in the hard work, getting the right guidance, and coming up with programs that will showcase the child's talents as well as academic interests.
You say the scandal made the high-pressure college admissions process even more intense. Do you have any examples of how you've seen that in your clients?
Yeah, so especially with the high net worth families, they have to do more than just what we call performative extracurriculars. As I mentioned, you can't just join a club at school or pursue a sport or do like these short term paid volunteer trips. What you have to do is come up with measurable accomplishments. If your interest is in science, for example, how do you show that? Maybe through research, through published work that you do, or through contests and prizes, both at the national level and international level in some cases. If you are a writer or an athlete, how do you demonstrate those talents, right? You could be a recruited athlete, for example, or as a writer, have you entered into contests and published your work? So the bar is much higher, especially for the families from high net worth backgrounds or with connections. And keep in mind, college admission officers look at context, right? So if you're from a certain zip code, say, in Manhattan, those kids are judged differently from, kids in other parts of the world that may not have all the benefits and privileges of, kids in Manhattan.
So what are colleges looking for now in prospective students?
Yeah, so they're looking for what I would say authenticity, relating to, again, your measurable accomplishments. What have you done tied to your interests and talents? Because they're trying to predict future leaders. Again, they're looking for things like innovation, leadership, commitment to social justice, for example, or even just entrepreneurship, how creative you are at solving problems. And these things cannot be manufactured, right? So we work with our students often as young as fifth graders or sixth graders. Why? To build up their interests and talents and cultivate those individuals, right? Because you do not come together with talent and interest in a short period of time. You have to cultivate them. And so colleges are looking at that growth and measurable accomplishments over time, and they're looking for future leaders that they can admit into their class.
So you say you're working with some kids as young as fifth graders. So what's your advice to people who can't afford a service like yours? How do they and their children get into college?
So start early. Look at what your child is interested in and cultivate that interest and build that interest into a talent. And every kid will have some sort of interest or talent, right? So look at that, determine that. It doesn't have to be some formal program or some well-known program. It could be something as simple as volunteer work. Start there. It could be something as simple as sport or a musical talent. But again, start with your child early. Spend time with your child and see what he or she is interested in. And again, cultivating that talent. But the key is to start early.
All right, college admissions specialist, founder of Ivy Link, Adam Nguyen. We appreciate your time today, Adam. Thank you.
Thanks, Diane.